Welcome everyone. We're going to be going over Webex today, how to change your preferences, schedule, join, and everything in the meeting. First, I'll have you go to nsi1.webex.com and have you sign in. From here, you'll be able to change preferences, check your recordings, see what meetings are going on today, and a couple other things that we'll go into. You'll be placed on this home screen here, where you can see your meeting link here. This will take you to your CMR, or your Cisco meeting room. You'll also see your upcoming meetings down below. If you go over to the Meetings tab here, shows you the exact same thing that the home page did there. Recordings are everything that you've recorded in your CMR, or if you were the host for another one, it'd be recorded under theirs though. Now with the recordings, they take a while to process, but they will eventually show up here and then you can download them, share them, and various other things. Preferences. You can change your time zone, language. You shouldn't really have to do anything there. Most of your settings will be under My Personal Room. Here you can change your personal room name. This is what is defaulted in Outlook meetings. If you change it here, it'll default change there. So you can set it to whatever you want. Your meeting room link, as I said before, nsi1.webex.com. The meet or join, and then your username. Please leave the username. That's what we're used to. Host pin. What this will allow you to do is when you go to any third-party Webex device, such as a collaboration or conference room, you can join your meeting room and then it'll ask you to enter your host pin. This is not my host pin, but please change it to how you want it, and then that's what you'll enter when you join the meeting. What this does is allow you to then be the host. Automatic lock. Basically what it says, auto locks the room after so many minutes after starting. Even if the person has a link, it wouldn't allow them to join. The notification, there's a button that says notify me. What this is, sends an email when someone is in your lobby. Alternate host, what this does is allow you to set someone else up to be a host when you're not in that room. They can start a meeting, and then when you enter it, you'll take over as host control. And then in here is just support, downloads, and a couple other things. Downloads might be the only other page that you need to go to. This is where you get your desktop meeting app and the productivity tools. These should already be set up, but if for some reason not working, you can go here and get them as well. Alright, so next thing we'll go over is scheduling a meeting. We'll go over to Outlook here. In here, there's multiple different ways to schedule a meeting. So first thing you can do is select a time. And then up here you'll notice there is a Webex add-on in the ribbon. There's a Meet Now, which will automatically start up a new meeting and join you into it. Or there is a Schedule Meeting. There's a couple different things in here. The Webex meetings up here at the top. This is a one-time only meeting room. This allows you to have just a temporary access if you want to start up a meeting with someone that you don't want them to know your CMR, and you'll get all the information, join it, and be the host. You can also send this information as well. The personal room is your CMR. That's the same thing as the link that I showed you before. Most people use the CMR, and this, like I said, just populates into your meeting room versus a temporary one. And then the conference meeting, basically the same thing as the Webex meeting, except it's mostly for audio. Cut that out. Personal conference meeting is just like meeting room, except it's mostly for audio calling. So we will set up a personal room meeting here. And everything in here is populated. You have the meeting room, you have the access code, and then you have the join meeting. If they were to get this by email, they can just hit the join meeting. It automatically populates everything they need. They just have to enter their name. There's a phone call down here if you just want to join audio, along with that same access code, which they'll be prompted to enter to make sure that they enter the correct room. Or you can dial the SIP address down here if you're joining from a third-party device. So from here, we will go over to the second one, which is the @Webex. In the location, you put @Webex, and after a few minutes, it'll be populated with the below information, which looks almost the same as scheduling from the add-on. You still have a call-in number, you still have the access code, you still have a join button, and you join in just like any other meeting. What this allows you to do is, if you're from your cell phone, if you're from another device that doesn't have the productivity tool installed, if you're from, you're at the library and you just log into your account real quick just to schedule a meeting, you can put @Webex, and then it'll communicate with the server and automatically populate this. And this still will be your personal room, as you can see here. Next thing we'll do is joining a meeting. So we'll actually join this one here. And this will be into my personal room. So first thing you'll be presented with is what I like to call the lobby. Here you can change your video system, your audio, and then your audio settings. You can mute, and if you had a camera, it would allow you to hide or show the camera. Once you change these preferences, they'll be saved. So every time you join a meeting, it'll start with muted if I click that. For the video system, if I had one, it would allow me to change it if the integrated versus a third party, an external camera. For audio, you can set that up to use the computer audio. If you had headset, if you just want to use your integrated microphone. The call me allows you to enter your phone number, and it'll have Webex call your cell phone or whatever other device you want, and then you just enter in a meeting code and it allows you in. The call in will give you a number to call, and the same thing other than the call me, you just call in with the same access code. Or you hit don't connect audio and you don't connect any audio at all. Over here is the settings. You can change if you want the system settings, if you have different speakers. You can see the microphone's already detecting. You can test to make sure the speaker is working, and a couple other things in here like adjusting the volume and various things. So we will now join the meeting. This is the first thing you're presented with. So from here you still have the mute and hide for the camera. You have share screen, participants, which will pull up the participants list. You have the chat, which allows you to send to everyone, or if you want to do individual, and this will be a private message. Most people don't use the chat. Any Cisco representatives, they like to use the chat more, but we usually use internal such as Teams or Jabber. And then the three dots are meeting link, audio connection, speaker and microphone settings, and then connecting to a device. This would be like the Webex board or any other collaboration conference room devices that we have. If you have the copy meeting link, all it says has been copied. That's the same link as the nsi1.webex.com/meet or join and then username. As I said, you can change your audios here. If you don't want to use your computer audio, you can have call me or call in. This is where you can also disconnect. So I can click that. I'm no longer connected. And then you can close that. And then there's the call in button now, which allows you to connect audio again. And then I can hit this, and you're reconnected. For the share screen, what this allows you to do is share the entire screen or individual applications. The individual applications will only share that. So if you want to share Outlook and then you want to switch over to Chrome, you have to unshare and then reshare Chrome. Whereas if you just share the screen, everything that's on the screen will be shared. It's recommended you have a dedicated screen for that. What I mean by that, if you have multiple screens, try and pick the same one so that any private messages over Teams, Jabber, emails, that those are not shared, whereas another screen that has the actual programs that you want to share are at. If you share the screen, if there were multiple, it would come up, and as you can see, there's a number 1. If there was a second screen, that'd be on number 2, and so on. This is not necessarily in the order that it's presented, so make sure you hover over it and identify which screen it is. So what we're going to do now is share the screen. That interface goes away and you're presented with a slightly different one. You'll see up here, this is the host list, the current people talking. You can minimize this, and then if anyone was talking, they'd show up here. Up at the top, it shows you you're sharing your screen. And when you go over it, it allows you to do most of the same things that you were doing before, such as mute, video, participants, chat, and here you can also do record, which we'll get into in just a second. If you pull up the participants, it's another window. If you pull up the chat, again, it's another window, and you can move these around. The only thing with this, when you're sharing your screen, you see these, no one else sees these. We'll go over here in a second, but if someone was trying to click here, they would not be able to because this box is in the way. I'll get into that a little bit more here in a second. And then you can do more, and this is where you can do your audio settings and everything else that we were doing before. This is also where you can share a different screen, and you can share the content or present it back with this screen. And let's say you don't want to share screen 1, then you can go to the different applications or another screen. You can also pause it, and then the assign button. Here you can do auto accept for mouse control. What this does is if you need to step away for a minute, someone else can jump in and request control, and it's automatically accepted. So what I'm going to do now is on my other computer, request control. When someone requests, you're prompted with this screen. It'll say who is requesting, and then you can hit approve or deny. If you hit approve, they get a message that says they can now take control. Once they do, I'm not moving the mouse anymore. I'm on my second computer, and they're moving it around. Back to the first computer, if you notice, I try and move the mouse, and it says someone is controlling it. Please click to gain control. I click, and now I have control back. For them, if they try and move, it says please click to regain control. Once they click, they have control back. So what we're going to do now is stop sharing, and I'm going to share on my other screen. So this is what it will normally look like if someone else is sharing and you're just viewing it. You'll see same participant list, chat, all the buttons are the same, everything's the same thing other than instead of just the picture of me, it's now my actual screen on my other computer. To request control, right click, ask to control, and it says you're about to request, are you sure you want to request? They get that pop-up now. Once they hit approve, it says you've been allowed to take control. Would you like to? You hit yes, and now you take control. As I said before, they have to click. Now they have control back, and you don't. And then there's that click to gain control, and then you have control back. Last thing I'll go over is the recorder. You hit record. Last thing I'll go over is the recording. You hit record, It may or may not ask you where to save it. We can just save it here as test. Last thing I'll go over is the recording. You hit record. Sometimes it asks you where you want to save it, sometimes it doesn't. That's really dependent on the version. If it does ask you where to save it, then you can save it here or anywhere else that you want. I'll just name it test meeting and then hit save. The recorder panel will pop up and you can hit record. Up in the top right here, you'll notice that the meeting is now being recorded. There's a little record symbol up here. Anyone else in the meeting can notice that little symbol, but it's not going to be presented to them that this meeting is being recorded. Usually we don't record meetings. It's mostly for customers that get kind of agitated during meetings. But if you notice that up there, the meeting is being recorded. And like I said before, go back over here. Any recordings that you have would be in here. Like I said though, it takes a while to process. So right after you're done with the meeting, it will most likely not be here. If it is, you can download it and share it however you want. All right, that will conclude the Webex training. If you have any questions, everything should be answered in here, but let the service desk know and we can help you with anything else minor. Thank you. Have a good day. Another thing that I wanted to go over is locking the room. You come up to meeting and then you can lock the room. Since I'm not the host on this one, I can't lock it. What you'll see though, up by that record symbol, I'll go back over to my other computer and lock the meeting. The meeting is now locked. Anyone who has the link will not be able to join. Anyone that tries to join this just will be presented with unable to join this meeting. You can unlock it by clicking the unlock button and you'd be back into an open meeting that anyone can join again. As you see, that little symbol up here went away. Now anyone can rejoin. You can also transfer the host to another user. So what I'm going to do is on my other computer, over to Matthew here and change role to host. If you notice, there you go. If you notice, now Matthew is the host. So now he came up here and lock the room. Now the meeting is locked. Now even though it is my room, I am not able to retake back host control. Matthew would have to go back in here, change role, back to host. It says, are you sure you want to assign the host? You click OK, and now I'm back to host. Now I'm not able to unlock the meeting, and I can't do a couple other things that the host would be allowed to do. And that will conclude